Good evening around your 9 p.m. on Sunday. I'm forecaster Andrew Fleck for Analyst Weathercast, doing another rainstorm update, and a lot of rain has fallen already and more still coming. I will explain a little bit on that, but let's first go and look at some of these impressive storm rain totals, especially in this white and that orange inside that white. That indicates between 3 and 3.5 to probably 4 inches very soon, especially over what seems to be the hot spot of where Port Jervis is and Montage in this area here. As we go a little more south here, there's about 3 to 3.5 over this area, okay, north of Belvedere. And some of the creeks and rivers here include Meniscus Hills, Tox Island, and Shoemakers of Bushgill. So both of these areas, Port Jervis up here with Montage, Tox Island, Shoemakers, and Meniscus Hills down here in that 3.5 inches. Both areas looking at the heaviest with this event. As we go more into New Jersey, that doesn't really affect the Delaware Basin, but also the New Jersey Basin, and that's a problem too. I do cover Eastern PA, but also New Jersey, so I need to mention that. But problem with up here from Port Jervis down to Montage, Shoemakers, and then to Tox Island, and so more south and so forth, is that all has to flow into the Delaware. There's a little bit of terrain that steers these creeks and rivers, and I'll explain that here. You do have a pretty good mountain up here, the Wind Gap Mountain, and the heaviest rain is just about north of that. And you do have a lot of creeks up just north of that mountain. So they try to flow into that mountain, but they can't. They have to get rerouted, okay, into where Meniscus Hills, Tox Island, and Shoemakers is. Then they are able to come down the Delaware. Okay, same thing with Port Jervis and Montage sitting up here in about 4 inches of rain. There's nothing steering that, but they're directly in agreement to flow right into the Delaware and come down here across where Tox Island is and Shoemakers and Meniscus Hills, and eventually that then flows into the Delaware further down through Belvedere and Easton. So that's 2 areas that remain watching, that are probably seeing the heaviest rains, or have seen the most rain today, that 3.5, 4 inches, and there's some more rain coming, so there's a possibility. I still think that there could be an area that gets close to 5 inches before we're all said and done, and it would be in that location there. I do live across the Bushgill Creek here, the one in Northampton County, and I'm actually centered right here, and we've had about 1.5 inches of rain, but the Bushgill comes down like this. We have that mountain I was telling you about right here, but the Bushgill begins where this line is. And we actually just went up 1/2 foot in 30 minutes on our creek. I was looking at some of the rain gauges. That's impressive. Where I think we're at 1083 or 10.83 feet. And for the water to be on the roads, it has to be 11.5, and if it's going up 1/2 foot every 30 minutes to an hour, it's going to be there in no time. So I'm very much concerned just alone with that Bushgill Creek by my house. I'm not close to it. I am a bit up on a hill, but I do worry for the ones living along that creek, because there are a hefty number of individuals, houses, and organizations that do sit along that creek. So that's my problem up here, but definitely up toward Port Jervis, Montage, Meniscus Hills, Tox Island, Shoemakers of the Bushgill. All that has to eventually flow into that Delaware, but again, you have those creeks that sit up here more inland, and they can't come down over this mountain, so they have to flow more east, then touch the Delaware and move down. Alright, last but not least, I'm going to explain what may be coming into the picture very soon from Northern Virginia and Maryland, the low pressure. And this is what we were talking about. There's going to be some precipitation with that low pressure, and this precip has the possibility to be as heavy as what we've seen today. And I think honestly, to sit safe, I would be okay with what we have gotten already. And I think there's going to be some rises, probably some creeks out of their banks within the overnight period. Rivers, it's iffy yet, but I mean, if this low pressure comes with very heavy rain that I'll show you on radar here, then there could be a major problem. That could add a significant bonus of rain into the area, and I do worry that that could come up here and hit the Delaware Basin very hard. Again, this is the heaviest rain I've seen on radar tonight, posing that threat to the Delaware Basin, and that would come into probably your 11 o'clock and midnight hours. Here it is here. You got your low pressure sitting about, wrong pen tool here. You got your low pressure sitting about right here, and look at this heavy rain with it, folks. You actually have some oranges and reds, and this low pressure is going to be tracking this way. Alright, so this precipitation coming up with it looks to affect this Delaware Basin. I do worry a good amount that could drop additional bonus inches of rain. Already I've seen reports down there where there have been a few locations that have had an inch of rain in an hour from this precipitation. It's very intense. So you can go on and pray that this would not affect the Delaware Basin, but I have a bad feeling that if it does, you're going to have almost every creek out of its banks, and you're going to have significant river rises. Maybe not out of their banks, but it's going to give that shot if this does get up here. So that area down across northern Virginia and Maryland really needs watching. That is the end of the storm there, but very much concern coming from me looking at that. So this has been your 9:30 p.m. update. I'm forecaster Fleck, and I'll talk to you later on tonight with yet another update.